And what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV. Today, the WWE has confirmed some more contestants for the Mae Young Classic, and we are here to continue our preview and special look at everybody the WWE is pulling from around the globe to enter the second annual Mae Young Classic for 2018 right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and Podbean, baby. It's the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Mae Young Special. Let's do it for the ladies.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me is my trusty Mae Young Classic coverage tag team, Thor, the Hammer of Reason, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, and my most trusted companion, my little buddy, and the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in the entire universe, Mr. Blue, the Snowball Microphone. Thank you guys for joining us for our Mae Young Classic preview for the competitors that have been officially confirmed by the WWE, and the next group that we got coming at you is a very, very good one, full of women from all over the world, all varying experience types, style types, looks, and that is what makes the Mae Young Classic very, very special. So let's waste no more time. Let's fire it up and go to the participant screen right now with this handsome guy. Enjoy. Alright, gang, let's get this list started with the 23-year veteran and Japanese wrestling legend Mako Satomura. She will be competing in next month's Mae Young Classic. Satomura began her career in 1995 at just 14 years old and has competed for Gaia Japan, Sendai Girls Pro Wrestling, which is a company that she herself founded, Chikara Pro, and even had a short stint in WCW. She's earned her way to championship gold nearly everywhere she's been, including the World of Stardom Championship, AAAW Singles title, the Sendai Girls World Championship, and in Fight Club Pro, where she is currently the reigning and defending FCP champion. According to Tokyo Sports, Satomura is considered to be the final boss of Japanese wrestling for the women, and essentially the wrestler all younger opponents hope to eventually defeat. She is known for her nasty kicks and her Death Valley bomb finish. She is also the recipient of the Best Match Award in 2015 for her December the 23rd match against Io Shirai, someone else who's competing in this month's tournament that we talked about in part 1 of this preview, and it'll be something to see if they both bring their experience and their expertise to the table and clash once again under the WWE roof. And we are going to go from talking about two pretty much legends of the industry to a couple of green as grass rookies as we go on to the next contestant, which is recent signee Lacey Lane. She is 30 years old. She is from Winter Park, Florida. She was trained at the Dudley Boys Team 3D Academy of Professional Wrestling by Bubba Ray and Devon. And that's it. That is all I know about Lacey Lane, which now gives her so much intrigue and makes her a virtual wild card in this tournament because nobody knows anything about her except that she looks like this, which is absolutely phenomenal. She looks great. I love what she's bringing to the table just in package alone so far. She looks like she could do some damage if she's serious and she's doing what she's got to be doing. If you're being trained by the Dudley Boys, I think that's a pretty solid stamp of approval, and I can't wait to see what Lacey Lane brings to us in the Mae Young Classic. What she's not going to be bringing to us is any kind of independent background. Not in the least we could talk about here as we talk about the indie star, our next contestant. That was a terrible segue. Karen Q from Queens, New York. What? Whoop, whoop, hometown girl. In case you guys didn't know and you're new to the channel, I am from Queens, New York. This makes me tremendously proud to have a hometown girl in the race and in such a prestigious tournament like the Mae Young Classic. She debuted in Victory Pro Wrestling in 2014. She spent a year in Beyond Wrestling before making her Ring of Honor debut in early 2017. She participated in Ring of Honor's Women of Honor Championship Tournament, but lost in the first round to the Bullet Queen, Brandy Rhodes. Everybody knows who Brandy Rhodes is, the beautiful wife of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, the only other nightmare in professional wrestling that I endorse. But Karen Q, coming from Queens, maybe that's what the Q stands for, Queens. Other than that, much like Lacey Lane, I don't know much about her. I know she's from where I'm from. She's also not Puerto Rican, which I am. And so is our next contestant that we are going to be talking about. And finally bringing some championship level contestants to the table in San Juan, Puerto Rico's 29-year-old Zook Sis. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, I will get it, I promise. She wrestles for CMLL since 2009. That's a pretty nice tenure, almost 10 years in the business. She has been the Mexican National Women's Champion and is the current Reina CMLL International Champion. A contestant like this is one of the reasons I absolutely love the Mae Young Classic even more, because we do not get to see people like this. We do not get to see superstars like this, cultures from all around the world. I can't wait to see what her in-ring style is going to look like. She is highly touted. I've been looking into it. She's got a lot under her belt so far, and it's going to be great to see this championship level contender coming over to the Mae Young Classic. We also have NXT UK in the house with competitor IlaDawn, formerly known as Courtney Stewart. The 24-year-old Scottish wrestler was trained by Tommy End, who most of us all know now as the former NXT champion Aleister Black. That's one hell of a trainer to have if you ask me. She made her WWE debut already in 2017 on an episode of Raw in the UK under the name Stacey Coates, and she lasted just a little bit over a minute against Asuka before tapping out to the Asuka Lock. She has also wrestled for CZW, Shine, and Nova Pro Wrestling. Most recently, she wrestled at WWE's NXT UK Weekend, facing off a couple of different times against the next participant we are going to talk about, Killer Kelly. Look at this red hot piece of something. She's very, very attractive. She looks a lot like Becky Lynch to me. I don't know what the deal is with the mouthpiece in there. Maybe she's trying to protect her teeth. But this, again, coming from all over the world, I love the contestants in the Mae Young Classic. They just bring to you stuff that you are not going to see before. And yes, maybe she looks like Becky Lynch, but Killer Kelly is only 26 years old. She is from Lisbon, Portugal. She has been wrestling since 2016, starting in a company called Wrestling Portugal, and she traveled the world wrestling in Revolution Pro and WXW, where she became the promotion's inaugural Women's Champion. More championship level competition coming to the Mae Young Classic once again. She would, however, later lose this championship to Mae Young Classic 1 alum and NXT UK's Toni Storm. So she's very familiar with some of the competition she is going to be facing off against. Speaking of Toni Storm, we have some more second chance entries with the return of 4 more superstars looking for another chance to win this whole thing, and Toni Storm is one of them. NXT UK's Toni Storm, the very impressive Auckland New Zealander, won the hearts of the WWE Universe with her 80s glam rock style, her tiny hats, and tough as nails performances in last summer's tournament. She is an 11-time Women's Champion, reigning across multiple promotions, and she's only 22 years old. Highly favored to win it all last year, she went deep, defeating Aisha Raymond, Lacey Evans, and Piper Niven in 3 of the tournament's best matches. She would then lose in the semifinals to the tournament's eventual winner for 2017, Kairi Sane. Can Toni Storm go all the way this year? Not if our next entry has anything to say about it. Fellow 2017 semi-finalist Mercedes Martinez is returning for another spot at the trophy as well. The Shimmer and WXW Ring of Honor alum is 37 years old. She is from Waterbury, Connecticut. She had her very first match back in the year 2000. Since then, she's wrestled all over the world and found herself in the 2017 Mae Young Classic, where initially this guy wasn't all that impressed after the first round, where she easily disposed of Zia Lee. Her second round victory over heavy fan favorite Abby Lath sent Martinez to the semifinals, where she would face no easy task, having to try to go through Shayna Baszler. And their brutal match was one of the toughest contests of the whole entire tournament. Mercedes was eliminated, but almost found herself in the finals, if not for the Queen of Spades. Nothing to be ashamed of. She has been on NXT a couple of times since then. She's even had a title shot by being invited back to participate in the Battle Royal for Asuka's vacated NXT Women's Championship. So far we have a lot of heavy-duty competition in this thing, but coming up next, at least in my opinion, something far less impressive and very surprising to me that she's coming back on this list is Kavita Devi. Now, despite being trained by the great Kali, the 31-year-old powerlifter from India was impressive enough to get signed to NXT after spending some more time at the Performance Center. Devi gets a second chance this year after last year's disappointing finish, being ousted in the first round by someone almost one-third of her size. NXT superstar Dakota Kai wasn't very impressed with Kavita Devi last year. We will see what 1 year's worth of learning has done to her. I know what the last year has done for our next contestant and the final contestant on this episode's list, Mia Yimm. The 29-year-old California native, previously known as Jade, has wrestled since 2009, competing everywhere from CZW to Shimmer, Shine, and TNA Wrestling. The former TNA Knockouts champion has made some noise in the first Mae Young Classic, defeating current Riot Squad member Sarah Logan in the first round. She went on and lost in a tough match to the reigning NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler and was eliminated in the second round. I happened to personally meet her at a House of Glory show, and she is an absolutely fantastic person. She has such a great heart. She's a lot of fun and a sentimental favorite for me this year. She had a great match that night that I was there to see her against Sonya Strong. She's a beautiful person. She's deserving of any success that she has. I hope, just in a sentimental value, like I said, to see her go all the way, although with the competition that we have lined up in the last two videos covering the 20 competitors so far in the 32-woman Mae Young Classic, it's going to be a tough mountain to climb for Mia Yimm or any of these ladies as we get ready, as August is vastly approaching and the Mae Young Classic finally will be back, and you are guaranteed to see some of the best women's wrestling of your life. It will be better than anything that you see at WWE Evolution. I guarantee it. Hammer down. Let's go back to the studio. Alright, gang, and there you have it. The next 10 competitors in the Mae Young Classic, bringing the total to 20 of the 32 women that are going to come and try to win this trophy for the second time around. What about Mako Satomura? Holy shit, the accolades that she is coming with. And if I know the WWE, the only reason they're bringing Satomura in is to make her go all the way to the finals and meet up with her arch nemesis, Io Shirai. It's pretty much written in the cards that to me, from this moment on, is going to be my pick for the finals of this year's Mae Young Classic. They could put on an epic match and really throw down, and Io Shirai will really get over upon her entry into the WWE world following the Mae Young Classic this year by beating the final boss of Japan. That's some pretty heavy friggin' accolades, if you ask me. They're pretty much calling her the Major Bison. She's the Shao Kahn of Japanese wrestling. That is some very, very intense words to describe somebody if you're talking to me about it. I'm a video game aficionado. I know what a final boss is, and those are two of the worst final bosses of all time. If you want to throw in Mike Tyson from Punch-Out, there you go. Those are probably the three worst bosses when it comes to fight-specific games of all time in all of professional wrestling, and this woman is them. That's their comparison. From a culture and a world that absolutely like deifies the video gaming world. They are the video gaming world for the most part. For them to use that analogy is really, really big. I'm also looking forward to seeing the return of Toni Storm. She was absolutely fantastic last year. Every single match that she gave us in the Mae Young Classic was a beautiful one, and she came so close to beating Kairi Sane that night, but she would have eventually had to go one-on-one with Shayna Baszler, and I don't know how good she would have done. I don't know how good anybody would do. I don't know how good I would do going up against Shayna Baszler in any sort of capacity. The girl's been absolutely fantastic since participating in the Mae Young Classic. We all know Toni Storm is one of the first major signees for the WWE in their NXT UK division, so it won't be a surprise to me to see her go far once again, if not maybe even win this whole thing and put the NXT UK on the back of the Mae Young Classic coming into 2018, generating it as much publicity and as much hype as possible. And I would not be against that at all. I'm also, like I said at the end of the list, I'm very sentimentally favoring Mia Yimm just because she was such an absolute peach to me. And I had to throw my picture in there just for a little authenticity purposes. If you guys missed any of my House of Glory coverage, you might not have seen my proof positive picture with Miss Mia Yimm. She was a doll. She was an absolute doll. Maybe that's why she was in the dollhouse in TNA. Idiot. But looking forward to seeing Mia Yimm. Her match last year was fantastic. I was hoping to see her go further as well this year, as far as she possibly can, but at the end of the day, I really don't think Mia Yimm is going to win this whole thing. We'll do previews and predictions another time. I'm just talking about some of the stuff off the top of my head that I'm thinking as I'm going through this list. The other girls from the NXT UK division, I've seen them during NXT UK weekend. All in all, I wasn't that impressed with anybody that I saw, but there's got to be something there for Triple H to have them on board for the Mae Young Classic. Obviously, they'll do some great things. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the Puerto Rican Power coming in here. Zook Sis, I think it was, or Zook Sis. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say it yet. I got to hear somebody say it, and then I'll know how to say it. Looking forward to seeing that. I love Lucha. You know what I mean? I like to see the luchadoras. I like to see what they do in the ring. What the WWE does with the Mae Young Classic, at least as far as we know, is not constrain their participants to wrestle a particular style or way. So if they just let her go and be her, like we saw last year with Princesa Suhei, I really enjoy this type of competitor. I like different and I like new, and there's nothing more different or new than Zook Sis, and I'm looking forward to seeing her. There is so much going on in the Mae Young Classic this year. Let me know what you guys think as we continue to celebrate SummerSlam. The real biggest party of the summer is happening right here on Sledgehammer TV, the official home of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. It's SummerSlam, everybody, so if you are new to the channel and you enjoyed today's list, first thing you've got to do is come on board the Sledgehammer Club and hit that subscribe button right now. Come and join the hundreds of people that are coming in by the day at this point, because they know that this is the absolute best wrestling coverage you are going to find on the whole entire planet. I do it absolutely differently than every single other person you will ever see on this channel, and we got so much more coming in so many different ways on Sledgehammer TV, so you got to stay tuned to see what it is. And if you want to stay tuned, the best way to do that is A, subscribe, and then B, you got to hit that like button. Take your sledgehammers at home and raise them up high, smash them down on your mouse, and then make sure that that button is lit up. If you're on a touch screen or something, do it with your finger. Jam it like you're sticking somebody in the eye, like Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black. You know, get it in there. Just make sure you get that like button pressed. And then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, and let them know that Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. If you're not following me on Twitter, you're missing my live tweets during Raw and SmackDown, and whenever I just have a random thought, which is probably at least once a day, and you're missing out on some pretty funny stuff. So make sure you are following me on Twitter at Nick Nightmare. Become a fan of the Facebook page. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Don't forget to get your t-shirts. Go to teespring.com. Pick one of the two. Pick them both. Just pick one. Become a part of the club. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers and above, and then help us upgrade by picking up your t-shirts. And then once you pick up those t-shirts, it is very important to me that you guys send me some pictures of your beautiful faces in my beautiful gear, so that I can have a beautiful subscriber special, give you guys all a very special shout out, and